Hey guys, welcome back to another DIY video. Today we're going to be working on some spring DIY home decor. I tend to lean towards a lot of neutrals. I find them very peaceful and calming, but I am mixing in some colors for spring. Of course, you can do your DIYs in any colors that you like, but let's get started with today's projects. So I've been trying to really work through my stash, and that includes paint. I've got so many paints, and I know that you can mix colors, but recently a friend mentioned to me, she's like, why don't you just like mix them and maybe you'll be able to find more uses for them because I have so many colors. And I was like, that's a really good idea. So I'm mixing together, just playing, scientist here. Is that science? I guess that's not really science. I don't know. But I'm mixing together a few shades of green along with some beige and coming up with a really pretty green color that I'm going to use on a lot of my DIYs. So I have this sign. I don't remember where it's from, but it's probably from Hobby Lobby is my guess, that I previously DIY'd. You can see, but I've sanded it down. But just grab a sign, any sign from the Dollar Tree, thrift store. If you have old home decor in your home that you're no longer loving as much, instead of donating it, you can give it a makeover. It's a really great way to repurpose things and helps you get some new, fresh decor on a budget without having to spend sometimes any money, depending on what you already might have on hand. So I'm going to give that a couple of good coats, and then I'm going to seal my project with some DIY clear wax. You could also seal it with Mod Podge or not seal it at all. I don't know, some projects require it more than others, but just to be on the safe side, I did go ahead and do that. And I'm just applying it with an old t-shirt, a scrap from a t-shirt. So just something that doesn't have like, lint on it. And we're just going to wipe that on, and then you can just kind of buff it in, is how I do it. I think I do it right. Anyways, so once that is done, I'm cutting down a popsicle stick, and I'm going to hot glue a couple of these together. I was looking for something to just give a little bit of depth for the piece that we're going to attach on. I didn't want it to be flat. This is a pretty piece from Hobby Lobby. They've got lots of animals in different shapes and had a few with some scriptures on them. And I thought this was really pretty for spring. And I just didn't want it flat on the box or on the sign, but I didn't want it super, super elevated. So I just went through my stash and decided on a couple of, pieces of popsicle sticks. And then I just glued that on there. And that was all for this one, but I thought it came out really pretty. Let me know what you think. All right, up next I have this metal bucket. Dollar Tree has these, Walmart has these. I picked mine up from the Dollar General, and I probably paid less than $1 for it. I'm assuming I get a lot of my stuff from Dollar General when it's marked down on clearance. All of the time, do not snooze on your Dollar Generals if you have them near you. But I'm just using my heat gun to take off the sticker, kind of soften up the adhesive, and then I'm just using some orange essential oil to get the sticky off. And then I did clean it with a baby wipe so that there wasn't any residue left behind from the oil. And then we're going to go in and give this a couple coats of the color green. I'm going to do the whole thing, inside, bottom. The inside I didn't do as good of coverage, but sometimes I don't know exactly what I'm going to end up putting in it, and I don't want you to be able to see the different color. Although it's not really like it's a bad color if the inside, I suppose, was this cream color. But I also did paint off the black rim, so some green did get down inside. Anyways, give that a couple coats. And then I have this gold butterfly sticker. This is from the wall decor, like wall stickers from the Dollar Tree. And because my piece here has like ridges in it, I wanted to just kind of start from the center and work the way out to make sure that I was able to press the sticker into the ridges. I was afraid that if I had to pull it up and reposition it with the paint being on like tin, that I would probably pull up the paint. So I wanted to get it right the first time. And then I'm going in with a chippy brush and some paint, just very little on my brush. And I kind of went heavier around the top rim, but didn't paint it a solid white. And then went across the whole thing. This kind of blends the sticker in a little bit. It also just gave a look that I like. It's a little less crisp, but I felt like the edges of the sticker got blended in a little bit more. And then I'm sealing this once again with a DIY clear wax. You can see the bottom of the tin there is not as well painted. I did seal that though because I didn't want any floral stems that I might put in there to chip away at the paint. But just to give that a coat of whatever you want to seal it, and then I put in just another potted plant that I had. but I love how this one came out. Really simple and an easy makeover. This DIY, we're starting with a little pedestal. This was from Hobby Lobby from 4th of July, maybe a couple years ago. I picked up a couple of them. You can see it has a little chip on it, and it was after season, so they were 90% off. I think I paid like 20 cents for this and several others that I got. So I did put a coat of Mod Podge underneath just to help. I don't know, I feel like some surfaces that helps paint adhere to it better. And then I gave this a couple coats of this pretty green color. Obviously, you do yours in any colors that you want. But I just gave that, I think it only took two coats. And then we're going to seal this in once again with that DIY clear wax. Definitely seal it. If you're painting it on metal or like ceramics, seal it up with something. If you want to just use Mod Podge, that's fine. And then this is just a file folder that I have in my craft stash because actually the other side is pretty pretty. It's a little greenery pattern. But anyways, I just cut out a piece of that to fit on top of the pedestal, and we're going to make a little scene, and we're going to add a cloche. So I'm just hot gluing one of these moss bunnies from the Dollar Tree, and then I'm adding in some hot glue and some floral moss from, I don't know if it's called floral moss, I think it is, from the Dollar Tree. And you don't really need a lot of this because I didn't need it to be like high up and bulky, but I just wanted to cover that cardboard. So I did go to all of the edges. You could also probably just do this with like Mod Podge or Elmer's glue instead of hot glue, but hot glue gun was out. And I could even just really cover the edges almost with the dust of this moss. I just didn't need a lot of it. I just cut this down to fit on top of that pedestal so that it would be, not hanging over the edges at all. And then we're going to place that on top. And then I have this cloche. This is just the top of the cloche. So I'm going to glue that down. You can see. This is the top of a cloche from the Dollar Tree. It comes with a base that I used at some point for something. So I just have the top of it and it fit well on top here. And then I wanted something for on top of the cloche. So I took a bead I had. I did fill in with hot glue. That doesn't work as good as filler, like a spackling, but it worked good enough. Painted it and then hot glue that on top. I did not secure this to the pedestal. You could certainly do that with some glue, but I just set it on top. And I thought this was super cute for spring. We've got some more Dollar General items here. This was something I picked up for only 10 cents after Valentine's Day. And I was like, this is a great base for a little sign. So we're just going to take off our sticker. And then I'm also removing some hot glue here to pull this embellishment off. And one thing that's great, but I have to keep in mind with Dollar General items, is they tend to be put on better than the Dollar Tree. So here I realized that there was actually nails holding that heart in. And so I used some pliers to try to pull them out. I ended up actually hammering them down in because I just could not get them to be pulled out. And I sanded it down to give it a little bit easier to cover all of that writing and gave it a couple coats of Waverly chalk paint in the color white. And then I'm dry brushing with that green color just to kind of bring all of the DIYs together just a little bit to add a little bit more depth so it wasn't like a flat white. And then I have this pretty little beaded garland from the Dollar Tree. We're going to cut off our little chick here as an embellishment. I'm also going to use the ribbon from the tassel because that goes well. And actually it was one of these white beads that I used on top of the cloche in the last DIY. Also from Dollar Tree, Crafter Square here, I've got these little wood word stickers and they have stickiness on them so you don't have to glue them. They are fragile. As you can see, I broke that one, but I was able to piece it back together when I put it on and you can't even tell. So I put on Hello Friends because when I saw this cute little chick, I was like, I don't know. I feel like the chick is just saying hello friend. I don't know. Maybe that's corny. Whatever. Do what you like with your DIYs and I'll do what I like with mine. And then I'm just using that ribbon and tying a simple little bow. I'm going to keep it pretty small, but I thought just to tie in a little bit more of that yellow. And obviously it matched well because it came from the same piece. So I'm just trimming down the ends of the bow at an angle and we're going to hot glue that into the other corner. It is not perfectly centered in it. That's kind of on purpose because the chick is obviously much bigger, but I thought this sign was really cute. It would look great on a tiered tray. For this DIY, I'm going to start with these little chalkboard signs. They are in a clothespin. They come from the Dollar Tree, but I did find one that was already in my stash that I had previously used that I was no longer using. So I'm just going to use that one and I'm going to paint it white and give that 2 coats. Let that dry. These stamps, the ink, this little stamping block. These are all from the Dollar Tree if you can find them. I'm not convinced that the ink pads are awesome. I don't know if I'm just not great at it. I'm still kind of working on my stamping game. But the stamps themselves, I think, work pretty great. And I'm just stamping on the word garden. I like to quickly clean off with a baby wipe or a wet paper towel. Just makes it easier to clean it if you do it immediately. These wood flowers are from the Dollar Tree. And once again, I'm trying filling in the holes with hot glue. I see people do this. I don't like it. I think I'll go back to using like spackling or wood filler, but I don't know. I just don't think it does as good a job. But I've got these flowers and I'm going to paint the back side of them. And I've just painted, kind of what you'd expect. The stems and leaves are in green. And I painted the top in white. And this is when I realized it's kind of hard to see here, but the hole was just not being covered up well. So what I decided to do was go back in with some white paint and mix it in with some baking soda. This paint here is a watered down white paint. If you've been watching my videos, you've seen me use this a lot. I'm trying to work through it, not waste anything. The baking soda gives just a little bit of texture. I've never tried, but I've heard of the product called Salt Wash that is a little bit stiffer and is designed specifically for paint. But the baking soda works good on projects like this. It gives enough texture. I used an old paintbrush because it does kind of mess with your paintbrush a little bit. But it gave me just enough texture. I liked the different textures because I think that adds some depth to your projects, but it also helped cover up that hole on top perfectly. You could not see where the hot glue was. Once that dried, I decided to go in with the pouncer brush and a little bit of yellow and add a little center and kind of make these look like a daisy. For the base of this project, I have this sign from the Dollar Tree, and we're just going to start by adding some details to the handle. So I'm going to use some of those beads from that beaded garland and thread them on. I tried just moistening the twine with like a baby wipe, and that did work, but for this final piece of threading it back through, I had to just put the tape on, use the tape trick to thread that back through and tie another knot. When I cut it earlier, I knew I wasn't going to be losing much of the length, so it worked out fine. And then we're going to attach these to the sign with some hot glue. I accidentally put a little too much in the stem, so it oozed out, and I just used a little tool to kind of scrape that out and got the other one put on. And then we're going to take our little garden sign and put that one at the top. So I thought that looked really cute, got that nice and centered. And I just have this leaning up here, but this is going to be really cute, hung up on a little hook as well. If you're enjoying this video, please give it a thumbs up. That helps me out so much. For this DIY, I have a sign. Once again, you can see that I've DIY'd with it before. Pretty sure, yeah, this was from the Dollar Tree. And we're going to use more of that, just like a stiff cardboard, but it's a file folder. And I'm going to hot glue that down here just to cover that up, give it a nice base, but then we're going to cover it up some more. So I don't know if that was necessary, but I have more moss bunnies from the Dollar Tree. One of those that it looked like I'd already used it before on a previous DIY. I do that a lot because I have lots of DIYs. But we're going to make ourselves a little scene of some bunnies in a carrot patch. This is a little bit more whimsical than I normally go with my projects, but I like to create a variety even if I don't necessarily decorate with everything myself, because it's still fun to create and I like to give you guys some ideas. So I'm using hot glue and attaching this floral moss all over. Here I am just kind of scraping off the top layer of it because once again I did not need this like high and bulky, so I just went around and kind of evened it out a little bit. And then I have these foam carrots from the Dollar Tree, and I just cut them down at different heights and then hot glue them into the moss. So I was trying to make it look like a carrot patch, like these are growing out of the ground and the bunnies are coming along for a snack. I thought this was cute. Like I said, a little more whimsical than I normally do, but I had a lot of fun creating it. And then I'm just trimming off the edges. I probably should have kept a little bit of moss away from the edges because it was a little tight fitting this back in the frame, but it did fit in the frame. I was able to, secure it back on, no problem, but you might want to just keep that in mind. And I just push that in and close down those little tabs again to hold it securely. And I thought this was really cute. I'll probably put this on a tiered tray, but let me know what you think about this one down below. That's going to do it for today's video. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're new here and enjoyed what you saw, I hope that you consider subscribing before you leave. It doesn't cost you anything. It just makes sure that you'll see my videos in the future. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.